Everybody wants a business that makes money while they sleep. So they search for the exciting idea, the next app, the next media brand, the next invention nobody has seen before. But some of the most dependable businesses are hiding in plain sight. They clean ordinary buildings, maintain ordinary equipment, rent ordinary space, and solve problems that return every week. Nobody brags about them at a party. Customers simply keep paying them, and when the route is dense, the billing is recurring, the work is documented, and the operation no longer depends on one pair of hands. Something powerful happens. The business can keep producing revenue even when its owner is not physically standing there. That distinction matters because the phrase "make money while you sleep" is usually misunderstood. Business does not become passive because the owner wishes it to be passive. It becomes owner independent only after demand is proven, the economics work, recurring revenue is installed, procedures are documented, and controls reveal problems before customers do. The sleep comes after the system. Anyone promising the reverse is selling a fantasy. My name is Carrie. And today I am going to show you 20 boring businesses that can eventually earn while you are not personally working. We will move from low-cost routes to asset-heavy operations, and finally to the most powerful model on the list. For each one, I will show you why customers keep paying, what creates owner independence, the risk most videos ignore, and the first move to test it without gambling your financial life. The numbers I mention are planning ranges, not promises. Your location, licenses, labor, financing, utilization, insurance, and execution will determine the real outcome. Before number 20, remember the 4 filters. First, recurrence. Does the same customer pay again without being resold from zero? Second, density. Can customers be served on one route or from one location? Third, delegation. Can quality be defined well enough for a person or machine to reproduce it? Fourth, control. Can you see sales, labor, inventory, downtime, clanklands, and cash without physically standing in the operation? A boring business becomes valuable when all 4 filters reinforce one another. Number 20, pet waste removal routes. The basic model is simple. Weekly or twice-weekly subscription routes for homes, apartment communities, and property managers. A realistic entry planning band is $500 to $500, although an acquisition, premium equipment, vehicles, property, or licensing can move it far higher. The reason this model can work is equally simple. The problem returns every week. Customers value reliability more than novelty, and dense routes reduce travel time. Here is where the while you sleep mechanism actually comes from. Recurring billing, route software, standardized supplies, and trained technicians can separate revenue from the owner's personal labor. That does not mean the business is unattended. It means the owner gradually shifts from performing every task to designing the route, standard, dashboard. Revenue becomes less dependent on whether the owner personally shows up for each transaction. But do not confuse an attractive model with guaranteed profit. The risk most people miss is this. A scattered route can look profitable on paper, while vehicle time consumes the margin. The smartest first move is not a dramatic purchase. Pre-sell one neighborhood before buying more than basic tools, insurance, bags, and safety equipment. Proof before scale. Contracts before capacity. A working unit before a fleet. Number 19, parking lot striping. The basic model is simple. Restrip faded parking lots for retailers, offices, schools, warehouses, and property managers. A realistic entry planning band is $300 to $10,000, although an acquisition, premium equipment, vehicles, property, or licensing can move it far higher. The reason this model can work is equally simple. Paint fades, layouts change, compliance matters, and much of the work can be scheduled during low traffic hours. Here is where the while you sleep mechanism actually comes from. Annual reminders, property manager relationships, quoting templates, and a 2-person crew can produce repeat work without constant prospecting. That does not mean the business is unattended. It means the owner gradually shifts from performing every task to designing the route, standard, dashboard, and accountability system. Revenue becomes less dependent on whether the owner personally shows up for each transaction. But do not confuse an attractive model with guaranteed profit. Number 18, pressure washing contracts. The basic model is simple. Clean storefronts, sidewalks, dumpsters, fleets, driveways, and community common areas. A realistic entry planning band is $200 to $8,000, although an acquisition, premium equipment, vehicles, or licensing can move it far higher. The reason this model can work is equally simple. Dirt returns, commercial properties must protect appearance, and recurring schedules are easy to understand. Here is where the while you sleep mechanism actually comes from. The business becomes more durable when one-off residential jobs are converted into quarterly or annual commercial agreements. That does not mean the business is unattended. It means the owner gradually shifts from performing every task to designing the route, standard, dashboard, and accountability system. Revenue becomes less dependent on whether the owner personally shows up for each train. But do not confuse an attractive model with guaranteed profit. The risk most people miss is this: travel, weather, water access, rework, and underpricing labor can erase attractive headline revenue. The smartest first move is not a dramatic purchase. Sell 10 founding memberships within a tight radius before adding a van, employee, or expensive equipment. Proof before scale. Contracts before capacity. A working unit before a fleet. Number 17. Mobile auto detailing memberships. The business model is simple. Provide recurring vehicle detailing at customers' homes, offices, apartments, and small business fleets through monthly membership plans. A realistic entry planning range is $2,500 to $12,000, depending on equipment, vehicles, licensing, or acquisitions. The key to success is building recurring routes and standardized systems, rather than relying on one-time bookings. The key to success is building recurring routes and standardized systems, rather than relying on one-time bookings. The smartest first move is to sell 10 memberships within a small service area before investing in expensive equipment or expanding. Proof before scale. Number 16, pool service routes. The basic model is simple. Provide weekly cleaning, chemical balancing, filter checks, and basic maintenance. A realistic entry planning band is $3,000 or $15,000, although an acquisition, premium equipment, vehicles, or licensing can move it far higher. The reason this model can work is equally simple. Pools require continual attention, and homeowners often prefer one trusted provider for the entire season. Here is where the while you sleep mechanism actually comes from. A dense route, recurring card billing, chemical checklists, and a technician can make the owner's role managerial. That does not mean the business is unattended. It means the owner gradually shifts from performing every task to designing the route, standard, dashboard, and accountability system. Revenue becomes less dependent on whether the owner personally shows up for each transaction. But do not confuse an attractive model with guaranteed profit. The risk most people miss is this: licensing, chemical handling, repairs, seasonal geography, and liability vary substantially by market. The smartest first move is not a dramatic purchase. Map every pool neighborhood in a 15-minute radius and validate pricing with local suppliers and operators. Proof before scale. Contracts before capacity. A working unit before a fleet. Number 15, commercial cleaning contracts. The basic model is simple. Clean offices, clinics, small schools, retail units, and shared buildings under recurring agreements. A realistic entry planning band is $1,500 to $10,000, although an acquisition, premium equipment, vehicles, property, or licensing can move it far higher. The reason this model can work is equally simple. The work repeats nightly or weekly, switching vendors is inconvenient, and buyers care about consistency. Here is where the while you sleep mechanism actually comes from. Checklists, supervisors, supply controls, and automatic invoicing allow crews to deliver while the owner monitors. That does not mean the business is unattended. It means the owner gradually shifts from performing every task to designing the route, standard, dashboard, and accountability system. Revenue becomes less dependent on whether the owner personally shows up for each transaction. The risk most people miss is this: labor turnover, key access, security, scope creep, and slow-paying commercial clients can destabilize cash flow. The smartest first move is target one building type and proof before scale. Contracts before capacity. A working unit before a fleet. Number 14, bookkeeping services. The business model is simple. Provide monthly transaction categorization, bank reconciliations, financial reports, and bookkeeping support for a specific client niche. A realistic entry planning budget is $500 to $5,000, though acquisitions, premium equipment, property, or licensing can push costs much higher. The reason this business works is simple. Every business needs accurate books every month, making it a recurring, process-driven service. The real opportunity comes from building systems, not doing every task yourself. Standardized workflows, recurring deadlines, secure document collection, and a trained team can turn bookkeeping into a predictable monthly business. But success depends on expertise, data security, and staying within the boundaries of bookkeeping rather than regulated financial advice. Start with one software platform, one client niche, and a fixed monthly package. Proof before scale. Contracts before capacity. A working unit before a fleet. Number 13. Pest control subscriptions. The basic model is simple. Provide recurring inspection, prevention, and treatment plans to homes and commercial properties. A realistic entry planning band is $5,000 to $25,000, although an equipment, vehicles, or licensing can move it far higher. The reason this model can work is equally simple. Customer return, customers value prevention, and service intervals naturally support contracts. Route density, scheduled visits, technicians, and standardized treatment records make the model repeatable. That does not mean the business is unattended. It means the owner gradually shifts from performing every task to designing the route, standard, dashboard, and accountability system. Revenue becomes less dependent on whether the owner personally shows up for each transaction. The risk most people miss is this: licensing, chemical regulation, training, environmental rules, and liability make this a serious operation, not a casual side hustle. The smartest first move is study state and local licensing requirements before purchasing chemicals, a vehicle, or a customer list. Number 12, wash and fold pickup routes. The business model is simple. Collect laundry from homes and businesses, partner with an existing laundry processor, and return the clothes clean and folded. Startup costs range from $1,500 to $10K, though vehicles, equipment, or expansion. The real advantage comes from recurring weekly pickups, route optimization, and subscription plans, allowing the business to generate predictable, repeat revenue. Success depends on reliable service, not just demand. Lost items, inconsistent quality, delivery efficiency, and dependence on your processing partner can all affect customer retention. The smartest first step is to secure a dependable processing partner and prove demand by serving one apartment complex before expanding, contracts before capacity, a working system before a fleet. Number 11, portable restroom rentals. The business model is simple. Rent portable restrooms to construction sites, events, farms, and seasonal locations, then provide scheduled cleaning and servicing. A realistic entry planning range is $15,000 to $75,000 plus, though premium equipment, vehicles, property, licensing, or acquisitions can push costs much higher. The model works because customers often rent for weeks or months, creating recurring revenue while the assets continue generating income between service visits. However, success depends on careful planning, not just buying equipped vehicles. Waste disposal, sanitation regulations, storage, maintenance, insurance, and permits all need to be in place before you scale. The smartest approach is to validate your servicing system and secure customer contracts first. Number 10, ATM placement routes. The business model is simple. Place ATMs in busy cash-heavy locations and earn a fee for every completed transaction. A realistic entry planning range is $3,000 to $8,000 per location, though premium equipment, acquisitions, or additional infrastructure can increase costs. A well-placed ATM can generate income throughout the day without requiring an employee to handle every transaction, making it a scalable, route-based business. However, success depends on more than installing a machine. Cash replenishment, maintenance, security, compliance, processing contracts, insurance, and choosing the right location all determine profitability. The smartest first step is to secure a high-traffic location and verify the processing economics before buying an ATM. Proof before scale, contracts before capacity, one profitable machine before a fleet. Number 9, vending and micro-market routes. The business model is simple. Place vending machines or micro-markets in high-traffic locations like offices, apartments, gyms, schools, and warehouses to sell snacks, drinks, and everyday essentials. A realistic entry planning range is $4,000 to $20,000 per site, though premium equipment or acquisitions can cost more. The real advantage isn't the machine itself. It's securing a profitable, high-traffic location with cashless payments, remote inventory tracking, and planned restocking routes. The business can generate sales without requiring the owner to be present for every transaction. However, success depends on location, not the equipment. Poor placement can quickly reduce profits. Spoilage, theft, maintenance costs, commissions, and card processing fees can quickly reduce profits. The smartest first step is to secure a strong location, validate customer demand, and only then invest in equipment. Number 8, ice and water vending. The business model is simple. Operate unattended kiosks that dispense filtered water, bag ice, or both, in locations with consistent customer demand. A realistic entry planning range is $20,000 to $100,000 or more, depending on equipment, property, and licensing. The business can generate revenue around the clock because customers can purchase products anytime using automated payment systems, while remote monitoring reduces the need for constant staffing. However, success depends far more on execution than automation. Utilities, permits, water testing, and most importantly, location quality have a major impact on profitability. The smartest first move is not a dramatic purchase. Model one conservative location using actual utility rates, traffic, lease terms, maintenance, and seasonal demand. Proof before scale, contracts before capacity, a working unit before a fleet. Number 7, tool and equipment rental. The business model is simple. Rent out specialty tools, trailers, compact equipment, party gear, or contractor equipment that customers only need for short-term jobs. A realistic entry planning range is $10,000 to $100,000 or more, depending on the type of equipment, vehicles, property, and licensing. The real advantage comes from the fact that people prefer renting expensive equipment instead of buying it for occasional use, with online reservations, deposits, digital waivers, tracking systems, inspection checklists, and staff. The same asset can generate revenue repeatedly, while the owner focuses on improving operations, rather than handling every rental personally. However, success depends on utilization, not just ownership. The biggest risks are equipment sitting idle, damage, theft, maintenance, storage, transportation, insurance, and financing costs. The smartest first step is to begin with one equipment category that has strong local demand and limited rental competition. Validate demand before expanding, secure customer contracts before increasing inventory, and prove one profitable unit before investing in an entire fleet. Number 6, dumpster and junk removal routes. The business model is straightforward. Provide scheduled junk pickups, recurring commercial waste removal, or small dumpster rentals. A realistic entry planning range is $8,000 to $60,000 or more, although acquisitions, equipment, vehicles, property, or licensing can increase that significantly. The opportunity comes from constant demand, waste never stops accumulating, convenience is valuable, and contractors, businesses, and property managers often become long-term repeat customers. As routes become denser and recurring accounts grow, the owner can transition from handling every pickup to managing operations through systems, trained crews, and efficient dispatching. Success, however, depends on controlling costs and operating efficiently. Vehicle expenses, disposal fees, labor, insurance, safety, and local hauling regulations can quickly reduce profits if not managed carefully. The smartest first step is to understand disposal costs and route efficiency before spending heavily on equipment. Test the business with rented equipment where practical, validate demand, and prove one profitable operation before expanding into a larger fleet. Number 5. Laundromats. The business model is straightforward. Operate self-service laundry, often combined with wash and fold, vending, pickup, and commercial laundry services. A realistic entry planning range is $100,000 to $500,000 or more, although acquisitions, premium equipment, vehicles, property, or additional infrastructure can increase the investment significantly. The model works because laundry is a recurring necessity, creating consistent local demand and steady revenue throughout operating hours. The business becomes more owner-independent through card payment systems, remote machine monitoring, cameras, attendance, preventive maintenance, and standardized operating procedures. However, success depends on careful planning. Before investing, evaluate lease terms, utility costs, equipment condition, repair history, local competition, and the location's financial records. Prove one profitable location before expanding. Number 4, automated car washes. The business model is straightforward. Generate revenue through individual washes and recurring membership plans at tunnel, in-bay automatic, or self-service car wash locations. A realistic entry planning range is $250,000 to $2 million or more depending on the property, equipment, acquisition costs, and licensing. Recurring memberships provide more predictable cash flow because vehicles require regular cleaning. Success depends on choosing the right location and operating efficiently. Key factors include traffic volume, site access, utilities, zoning, environmental compliance, equipment reliability, weather, competition, and manageable debt. Before expanding, prove that one location is consistently profitable. Proof before scale, contracts before capacity, a working unit before a fleet. Number 3. Self-storage. The business model is straightforward. Rent secure storage units to households and businesses through monthly subscriptions. A realistic entry planning range is $250,000 to $3 million, though land, construction, acquisitions, and premium facilities can push costs much higher. Revenue is supported by recurring monthly payments, while online leasing, automated gate access, autopay, security systems, and remote management reduce the need for constant owner involvement. The biggest challenge is not running the facility, it's choosing the right market. Success depends on occupancy rates, local demand, zoning, construction costs, financing, taxes, insurance, and competition. Number 2, niche B2B software. The business model is simple. Build software that solves one repetitive workflow for a specific industry, and charge customers a monthly subscription. A realistic entry planning range is $5,000 to $100,000 or more, depending on development, infrastructure, licensing, or acquisitions. Once the software becomes part of a company's daily operations, recurring subscriptions, cloud delivery, automated billing, onboarding, and customer support can create predictable long-term revenue with less dependence on the owner's daily involvement. The biggest challenge is not building the software. It's finding the right problem and getting customers. Poor problem selection, security issues, high customer churn, support demands, and platform dependence can quickly reduce profitability. The smartest approach is to interview potential customers. We have this repetitive workflow issue. Validate demand and sell a manual version of the solution. Yes, this simple workflow works. Before investing in a full product, proof before scale, contracts before capacity. Number 1. Buying an existing recurring revenue business. The model is simple. Acquire an existing service, route, rental, or subscription business with verified customers, recurring revenue, and a proven operating history. From scratch, you inherit existing customers, train staff, establish systems, and documented demand. The business becomes more owner-independent when clear processes, recurring income, and reliable management are already in place. The biggest risks are overpaying, poor financial records, hidden liabilities, customer concentration, and seller dependence. Before buying, define strict acquisition criteria, verify the financials with legal and accounting professionals, and confirm that the cash flow can comfortably support the purchase. The real opportunity isn't collecting business ideas, it's recognizing the system behind successful ones. The best businesses solve recurring problems, generate repeat customers, follow simple, repeatable processes, and can eventually run without the owner handling every task. Don't choose the business that sounds exciting. Choose the one with proven demand, manageable risks, and a model you can systemize over time. That's the real path to building long-term wealth and freedom. I'm Carrie. Thanks for watching. And in the next video, I'll reveal the real number you need to retire, not the age society tells you. Subscribe so you don't miss it.